Jeff and Margie, hope you're doing well. Hey, I broke down a little spreadsheet as I mentioned I would do breaking down these schools. Want to just let you know where this information's coming from. First of all, I mentioned this site. It's collegedata.com. It's an excellent site full of all kinds of information. You'll see it can take a while to load. At least it does on my computer. There's so many banner ads and all kinds of stuff. It's a third-party site, and they make money through advertisements primarily. But it's excellent, all kinds of information. And when you go to their main page, I'll save the processing time from that. When you go to collegedata.com, you'll see like this little magnifying glass, and you type in, enter in a school, it pulls it up, you select it, and then you'll have these 6 tabs. And there's a lot of information in these tabs. Recommend you just kind of look around. But I go to 2, and these are the only 2 that I use. I immediately go to admission and money matters. And the reason is because I want to get a baseline of an average student. What's an average student academically for them, and then what's the average from the awards, right? What do they on average give out in awards? So when you scroll down here, this is Colorado State. You'll see the profile was 2016. So this is a couple enrollment cycles ago, which is fine because obviously, we've got the 2017, 2018, and now the 2018, 2019, but a couple enrollment cycles ago. But you're going to see here on all these schools, they have this. There'll be an average award. So the average, this is need though. The average need-based award by CSU was $11,600. The average merit-based award was $5,200. All right. So what I did is I plugged that information into this simple little spreadsheet. You'll see here the 11.6 and the 52. Now, this need, if we can get to a need-based position, that's great. And really, the only way we can do that is by if one of you, your EFC, your expected family contribution, would calculate below the listed cost of attendance. So Margie, I don't know what your financial, what your financials look like. I don't know if you're remarried. If you are, the step parent has to be on. So if we did Jeff, then both Jeff and Ann are on the application, and that would knock us out of a need-based position. So I don't know what your scenario looks like. If we can leverage you, that would be very advantageous because we would then have the ability to qualify for this resource of money. All right. And again, when we put one of the parents on, it doesn't obligate you more than the other. All it does is, if there were parent loans that were to be selected, they would be in your name. Well, we're just not selecting any parent loans, right? So that's either a conversation you and Jeff have. If you need to have one privately with me, whatever. I just respect your guys' privacy. But so if that's possible, then that opens up the door for additional money. So we always want to at least pursue it. All right. So those are the average offers. And then, of course, if I click on admission, I can then get, well, what's an average student, right? Are we above average? Well, then we shouldn't get an average offer. Are we below average? Well, then an average offer would be really good, right? So this is just the barometer of how we leverage our kid. Okay. So as we scroll down here, lots of information, but where I go, what I'm looking for, first this screen, you're going to see that GPA is important for CSU. Standardized tests are important, just not very important, but so is the essay, and that's good, right? Because the essay is going to be a really big component to Jack's story. So I like that they like the essay. And then you can see here that the average GPA, I was surprised when I saw this, average GPA for incoming freshmen 3.62. The average SAT for them is looking to be around 1200, which we're pretty close. The average ACT is 25. So this gives me the mark of what I need to know of where my kid is, and then what they do with their money for the average student. So if we're on this profile, here on the CSU, we see the 3.62, the roughly 1200, the 25 on the ACT. They do consider the essay. If we can qualify for need-based award, that's great. The average merit is about $5,200. So these two combined, taken off of the cost of attendance, would give us potentially a net cost of about $9,700. Now, there's something called WUI. I don't know if you've heard this, but it's pronounced that way. You'll hear WUI schools, WUI discount. You'll hear just the term WUI. It stands for Western Undergraduate Exchange. And what it does is I've included an attachment for you. I don't have it pulled up. I've included an attachment in this email that's a flyer on this, or a PDF on this. And all it is that the Western schools, many of them, got together trying to keep Western students in Western schools. So what they do is, it's not difficult to attain. It's a little application, but it's more a form that you're filling out. What it does is, instead of charging you the out-of-state tuition, it'll take the in-state tuition and just multiply it times 150%, which is still less, fairly significantly less than the out-of-state tuition. So it gives you a tuition discount. All right. So if I go to, let's just do this real quick. If I go to the Northern Arizona, because they are included in WUI. So if we click on their data, then what is the number here? You would go to tuition and fees, not the cost of attendance, tuition and fees, and you would take 11,060 times 1.5, right? 150% of that. And what is that number? 11,060, 1.5. So that number is about 16.6, which is, $8,000 to $9,000 less than the out-of-state tuition, which is great. So it's a discount. All right. So Northern Arizona is a part of WUI. Arizona State is not. As the main university in Tempe, their West Campus, their downtown campus, are a part of WUI. I can't find information on Arizona State West Campus. I can't get any of their financials, can't find them on any resources. So Arizona State is not a part of WUI. But look at this. This was interesting to me. So if we take Arizona and we take the Northern Arizona, both of them do not consider essays. Well, that's a critical component to his application. See, this is where having multiple schools really comes into play. So in that WUI attachment, you might want to pick a couple other schools, go through this, look to see if they rank the essay as important, right? I'd be tempted to maybe replace these two schools with potentially with a couple others that take the essay seriously. All right, just a thought. Now he might be able to still get in, but as you can see, they're sitting about 3.5. If his overall is 2.6, and his scores are a little bit below their average, I mean, maybe not. They might get in, but then we've got the financial aid department to deal with. But so something to consider. 6 to 10 schools is the mark. We're right at 6. I would be very tempted. I would advise you to look through that WUI packet, pull up the information, see how they see what they think about the essays, and consider applying to those. Maybe make it 8 schools, right? Because that's such a critical component to his application. So you'll notice CU and CSU look like really good opportunities. The essay is important. When you take, would they consider kind of his GPA once everything else was, lining up in his life, and he'd be, looking to be right around pretty average for them, which is good. And they're aggressive when it comes to need-based aid, pretty aggressive when it comes to merit as well. But if we can get to the need-based, we're in a pretty good position. So again, that's just a conversation we've got to have. Is that possible? So really the big thing that came from this for me was the Arizona schools. So I think we ought to get a couple more options in there to where giving him the ability to tell his story. All right. So I'm going to get you this little spreadsheet. If you have any questions on how to navigate that site, let me know. You'll have the WUI attachment, and you will also have my appeal letters, even though that we're premature on the use of that, but you'll at least have them and kind of see what we're building up to. All right, we'll chat with you soon. Any questions, you're more than welcome to reach out to me. See ya.